Slavery in the U.S. versus the world, a 15-question quiz on history. Slavery has existed across the globe, but the system in the United States was uniquely brutal and deeply influential. In this quiz, we'll explore how slavery in the U.S. compared to other parts of the world and uncover some fascinating and at times shocking facts about its history. We'll cover landmark cases, restrictive laws, and the roles of enslaved people in shaping history. Think you're ready to test your knowledge? Let's see what you know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to stay tuned for more quizzes and lessons. Let's get started. What was the basis for slavery in the United States? B. Ethnicity and race. Slavery in the U.S. was primarily based on race and ethnicity, with African Americans being enslaved due to their race. How did slavery in the U.S. differ from other forms of slavery globally? B. Based on race and ethnicity. U.S. slavery was racialized, unlike other forms of slavery that were often based on class or debt. What year was the Virginia law that declared children born to enslaved mothers would inherit slavery from their mothers? B. 1662. The 1662 law in Virginia codified that children born to enslaved mothers would inherit their mother's status as slaves. In the case of John Kazor versus Anthony Johnson, 1655, what was the significant outcome for John Kazor? D. He was declared a slave for life. This case was one of the first to legally define lifelong slavery in the U.S. What was the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850? C. Law requiring the return of runaway slaves. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 mandated the return of escaped slaves to their owners, even if they were in free states. What legal case in 1857 upheld the notion that African Americans could not be citizens? B. Dred Scott versus Sanford. The Dred Scott case ruled that African Americans, even if free, were not considered citizens under U.S. law. What was the significance of the Dred Scott versus Sanford decision for enslaved people? C. It ruled that African Americans could never be citizens. The ruling reinforced the denial of citizenship and legal rights for African Americans, including those who were free. What was a fancy maid in the context of slavery? C. Fancy maids were often light-skinned or mixed-race black women enslaved for sexual exploitation, typically trained to serve their owners or others in this capacity. How did the U.S. legal system support the concept of slavery during the early years? B. By enforcing the Fugitive Slave Act. The U.S. legal system enforced laws that protected slave ownership, such as the Fugitive Slave Act, which ensured slaves were returned to their owners. In what way was the system of slavery in the U.S. more restrictive than in other parts of the world? B. It was inherited through the mother. Unlike many other forms of slavery, the U.S. system made slavery hereditary through the mother's status. Which law passed affected the status of children born to enslaved women? B. The Virginia 1662 law. This law declared that children born to enslaved mothers would also be slaves, solidifying hereditary slavery. What was one of the primary economic reasons for the expansion of slavery in the U.S.? B. Increased demand for agricultural labor in the South. Slavery expanded due to the economic demand for labor on cotton and tobacco plantations in the South. What was the role of Nat Turner's rebellion in shaping attitudes towards slavery? B. It resulted in stricter laws and repression of slaves. Nat Turner's rebellion caused Southern states to pass harsher slave laws and increased repression. What was the Fugitive Slave Act part of? C. The Compromise of 1850. The Fugitive Slave Act was included as part of the Compromise of 1850, which sought to balance the interests of slave and free states. What was a key reason for the success of the Underground Railroad? B. The involvement of many free African Americans. The Underground Railroad was successful due to the efforts of abolitionists, particularly free African Americans, who helped guide enslaved people to freedom. Hope you found the quiz interesting. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.